when you're making a slab pot, hopefully I'll have some really nice clay for you so that you can just start rolling it out right away. But if that's not the case, if you have a bunch of leftovers from other projects, then you're going to need to wedge it to start with. So when you wedge the clay, I want you to make sure that you push down and pull back up like this. The point of wedging is to get the clay that's really moist and the clay that's really dry to blend together, and it also helps you to work out any air pockets. If I'm doing this well, then I should have a spiral kind of forming on the edge of the clay. I can hear air bubbles popping. So there's my spiral again. Okay, I think I'm ready to start. I'm going to go ahead and kind of flatten this out just to make things a little bit easier to start out with. I want to make sure when I use the rolling pin that I'm not using the handles. The handles are great if you're making cookies or tortillas or pies, but if you're trying to make a slab out of clay, then you really need to have your hands on the main part of the pin. So as you roll that, it sticks to the canvas and it makes it kind of hard to get anywhere. So every once in a while you need to pick the clay up and flip it over. The whole point of doing that is to get it unstuck from the canvas so that it will move and flatten for you. Otherwise you just seem to roll and the clay just doesn't seem to get any flatter. You can just pick it up and leave it in the same place. The whole point is to get it off the canvas. But I like to roll it from different directions, so when I flip it, I like to turn the direction too. Okay, you don't want it too thin or it's going to be really hard to get your piece to stand up. So this is looking pretty good right here. I'm going to take my pattern piece. Oh, before I do that, I've got to put my texture on. I've got this nice piece of netting, and I'm going to roll the rolling pin across it to push the netting into the clay. So when I pull that out, it should leave a design behind, an impression. There we go. Okay, so looks like my pattern is going to fit really nicely. I've even got enough room that I can cut out the circle too. If you end up messing up and you just have to start over, you're going to need to wet down your clay and then wedge it again. So you'll need to ask Mrs. Parks for some water so you can wet it down, because it will be too dry if you just squish it together and start wedging. But you will definitely need to do that, get it wet and then wedge it all before you start making it into a slab again. You can also use a fettling knife instead of a paper clip tool. Fettling knife works really nice for this. There. So this clay I won't need, and so you need to give this back to Mrs. Parks, because you're not going to need it for your project, and we need that for the other students, because I have to give you about twice as much clay as you actually need so that you can get the piece rolled out like you need to. So I actually am letting you borrow somebody else's clay for a while so that you can make your project. I'm going to take my circle, and if I don't have a design on my circle, that is okay. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I've got my water here and my toothbrush so I can slip and score. I'm going to put the toothbrush in the water, and then I'm going to kind of lean it against the side here to get extra water out of it so it's not too much water. And then I'll go around like this on the edge of the circle. And then I need to go through 3 sides. I want to leave the top without any slipping and scoring. Okay, I have a special tool to help me put this all together. This is the middle of a paper towel roll from here at school. They work great. Okay. I want to make sure that that's sitting right up on top of the circle at the bottom. You can see it kind of got off to the side there. I want that up on the edge. So all the places that were slipped and scored have been pushed together, and right now they're just still holding together because I've gently shoved them together, but now I need to do some welding to really make that stay. I don't want to weld very big because then I'm going to wreck my design. So I'm going to just try welding just a little area here. But it's really important to do this. If I don't, then it could very well fall apart. You can see I've lost a lot of my texture on the bottom already, and I'm probably going to lose some more before I'm done here. Okay, something that might be kind of fun to do, since I've got these extra little spots here that I've just blended away the texture, I might want to take some kind of tool and press it into the clay to kind of disguise the seam. So I'm going to take this button and I'm just going to push this button all along the seam just to make it look a little nicer. Ah, I like that. Okay, got to sign it. Okay, then the last thing I want to do is pull that back out. Ooh, looking at my edge, I think this could be a little nicer. So I'm going to go around my edge here and kind of gently smooth that together too. It is ready to go put on the tray to be fired.